Sorry, I'm still here waiting for the new hero in Overwatch. No, it's all good. What is the new hero in Overwatch anyway? I can't respond in the next 2 minutes for about an hour or two because I'm going to be reading, but yeah. How's everyone doing tonight? Everyone doing good? I'm going to give everyone 5 more minutes to arrive before I start. I'm going to vape some fucking weed and shit. I will go over a little bit what we went over last time. So we started detailing the clipper, which is the shells, the layers of hell. We got all the way to Thagrian, and now we're going to go into the parts that aren't in the astral, the deeper parts, the deeper half of the map. And then we'll see where we go from there. Does anyone want to make any devotionals before we start? Yeah. Oh yeah. When you do a little prayer for a demon or a god or something.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little snippet.
Yeah, okay. Hail Lilith, hail Dandelion. Hail Lilith. Hail Lilith, hail Dandelion. Hail Abaddon. Hail Samael. Okay, we got a minute, guys. You asked Lilith for hoes, not Satan. Okay? He's the war furnace god. He's the god of the war furnace. Okay, guys. I'm gonna take a hit and I'm gonna start reading, okay? So, to go over the context, this is the deeper levels of hell, the ones that aren't located in the astral, are located in the umbral, in the dark realms, okay?
Like Abyss? Like a Rippler?
Exactly like Abyss, exactly like Abyss, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, alright.
The void, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing, okay? So here we have Gehag Shabla. Gehag Shabla is the highest clipper of those that are below the supernatural triad. Gehag Shabla is the force that rules all Qlippothic spheres below the abyss. The highest triad corresponds to the ideas of the divine consciousness. The 7 layers below correspond to difficult degrees of consecration of ideas. Both Gehag Shabla and its bright counterpart are associated with the Demiurge, the creator that shapes the world. The 7 worlds below the highest triad can be compared to the 7 days during which below God created the world, according to the Bible. The act of creation arises as an impulse in Chokmah, receiving a negative form in Bina. Bina grants the space for something to be created, similar to melting a metal into a mold. Chesed is the principle that fills the form and thus creates a positive existence. Thus, Chesed makes the impulse from Chokmah concrete and acts as Chokmah. From concrete level in the highest triad, all principles and many potentials that are not yet actualized ideas. Only on the 7 lower levels is the world actualized. Sorry about that. Let me drink some water. When the adept encounters QabbalahQlippoth, the preparation for leaving the concrete levels and journeying into the absolute core of the universe that is found in the highest triad is initiated. QabbalahQlippoth represents the forces that finally test the adept before the journey through the abyss is begun. QabbalahQlippoth undresses the adept completely before the abyss and the highest Qlippothic triad. In a Sumerian tale of the descent and the goddess Ina in the underworld, she passes 7 gates before she stands before the throne of her sister, the goddess of death, Ereshkigal. At every gate, she is forced to remove one piece of clothing until she is totally naked. The pieces of clothing correspond to 7 of the attributes of life that she must leave behind to stand eye to eye with death. The 7 Qlippoth below the abyss represent the 7 gates of the underworld. Gamaliel removes the attributes of Yesod, and Samiel those of Hod, and so on, until the magician stands completely naked before the abyss. The Qlippothic forces destroy the pieces of clothing, the attributes, the illusions, that are obstacles for encountering the utmost darkness and the utmost wisdom. QabbalahQlippoth removes the last piece of clothing and guides the adept towards the abyss and the innermost domains of the underworld. QabbalahQlippoth represents a higher level of erotic mysticism. On this level, lust and suffering are transcendent and pass over into each other in a static energy that lies beyond the polarity between attraction and repulsion. The adept goes beyond any difference between lust and suffering. The energy of death, Thanatos, is transformed into the energy of life. Eros, and the emptiness of the abyss is filled with the energy that enables a metaphysical rebirth in the midst of death. The demon, Astaroth, rules QabbalahQlippoth. Astaroth is also called Ashtaroth or Astarte, and was originally a Semitic goddess of fertility and war, equivalent to Ishtar among the Babylonians and Ina of the Sumerians. In Goetic texts, Astaroth is called the impure Venus of the Assyrians with female breasts, but he has the head of an ass or ox. In the Goetia, Astaroth is the 29th demon and is in possession of tremendous wisdom. Astaroth can inform about the past, the present, and the future, and can reveal all secrets. Astaroth was the foremost of the fallen angels who were thrown into the abyss, and Astaroth can tell the adept about the fall of the angels and the reason behind his own fall. So, to answer your question, I explained a lot of this in earlier sermons. You're here a bit late, so but the book is available in Satanic Resources if you want to catch up. This is page 131, okay? Is that okay? Thumbs up? Someone asked will I be explaining all this. Well, someone asked if I'll be explaining all this, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, next little thing. The abyss. Between the highest divine level and the lowest, there is the abyss. On the side of the light, this can be linked to an enormous slope that leads down to the dark side. On the dark side, the abyss does not exist in the same manner. The adept of the light who fails to reach the highest divine triad falls down into the abyss and might become a victim of the forces of chaos that dwell there. From the perspective of the dark side, however, the abyss can be linked to a river that separates the darkest center of the underworld from the surrounding parts. In the Kabbalah, the abyss is called Masak Mavdil. In the abyss and its dark river, all failed adepts lie drowned. By passing the abyss, the magician's old limited form dies. All attributes that have been determined, the life and the will of the adept have been left behind. The adept is transmuted in the abyss. The forces of darkness polish away all limitations and hinder the soul of the magician to become divine. After the abyss, the soul becomes like a black diamond that carries all colours of life and the spectre within. The abyss corresponds physically to the throat and neck and the part of the back where the spine passes into the brain. Here we can find the Vishuddhi chakra, which is compared to the blue lotus with 16 petals. Beings and entities like Abaddon, the angel of the abyss, and Choronzon dwell in the abyss. They consume the body parts of the old, limited self that the magician leaves in the abyss to die. Alright. I'm just vaping. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Give me a moment. Saterial. Saterial is the first clipper after the river of the abyss. The adept enters into Saterial, reborn and baptized in the black water of the abyss. Saterial is the dark side of Bina, and these worlds are strongly related since Bina is already itself a dark force that acts as a root of the left side on the tree of life. The difference is that Saterial is not part of the bright order of the tree of life, but part of the Shitra Ara on the other side. Both Bina and Saterial correspond to the dark and mysteries. They represent the principles that carry all answers within but lie hidden in the utter darkness. Saterial is the one who keeps secret and hides something. The darkness that is created in Bina acts as a negative form in which creation receives its shape. Bina and Saterial represent time and destiny and are associated with goddesses of fate, like the Greek Mores and the Nordic Norns. The three Mores are Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos, and their task is to spin twine and cut the life thread of each and every man. Clotho holds the distaff and rules birth, Lachesis rules what takes place during life, and Atropos, who wears a black veil, cuts the thread that determines death. In the same way, the three Norns, Erd, Verdandi, and Skuld, represent to birth the past, the life, and the present, and finally death and the future. Lilith has her original abode in Saterial, but similar to the goddess of fate, acts on the lower astral levels where she weaves the threads of destiny like a spider. Bina and Saterial correspond to the gods of time, Chironos and Saturn, where the ones who execute the rhythm of the destiny by the movements of the moon in the lower levels. The terrifying Indian goddess Kali rules time, and she too corresponds to Bina and Saterial. When the adept reaches the Saterial, a final step into the divine level takes place. For the adept of the dark path, Saterial is where the individual enters into the center of the underworld to meet its ruler. The adept will meet Ereshkigal, Hell, Hades, Lucifer, Satan, or any of the other characters that are associated with the innermost parts of the underworld. At first, having entered into Saterial, the adept gropes around in utter darkness, a common experience that characterizes Saterial and the feeling of wandering through long pitch-black liberal labyrinths. The demons of Saterial are associated with the absurdities, delirium, confusion, and mysteries. Lucifuge rules here and should not be mixed up with Lucifer. Lucifuge escapes the light, while Lucifer is the bringer of light. Lucifuge leads the adept through the dark labyrinths of Saterial towards the last levels of the Qlippoth. In the darkness of Saterial, one can experience the breath of the great dragon, Tehom. In the tunnels, one can hear echoes of strange sounds from the planes beyond the limits of the universe. At the darkest point, the darkness flares up and becomes light. The adept experiences how the all-seeing eye of the great dragon is opened. At this stage, the adept attains clear sight and the third eye begins to open. This eye is called the Eye of Lucifer, Shiva, or Odin. In the old Greek Typhonian mysteries, this experience is called Drakon, which means to see. Okay. We're almost done with the map of hell, guys. We've got 2 more clippers to go. I'm just vaping.
Fuck yeah, live for your flash.
Hell yeah.
Ma'am, it's ma'am!
Sorry.
It's okay.
I always say sir is part of like a bit.
I got you, fam. It's all good. I was saying it's ma'am as a bit as well. It's all good, fam. It's all good, fam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you got this, girl.
Thank you. Ave Lilith.
Ave Lilith.
That's who we're bigging up today. Thursday's Lilith Day.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That mean we get to be lustful as again? Like
Hell yeah.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Orgies?
Even more so.
Oh, hell yeah. Like,
You don't want me in command of an orgy, I promise. I promise you don't want me in command of an orgy. You don't want me in command of an orgy, I promise. I'll bring all of them.
Hell yeah.
Alright, anyway. You guys ready?
Hell yeah.
Alright. Gagiel. Gagiel is the last clipper before Thalmiel and is the active force of the dark side. Gagiel is associated with phallic gods and the beings like the devil in his most masculine sexual form, or the antique god Priapos with his giant red phallus, or Cernunnos or Pan, for example. Gagiel corresponds to Shiva in his most phallic shape with the power of his lingam, or phallus, causes the third eye to open so that the universe is destroyed and recreated in one with the same moment. If Satariel is the throne of darkness, then Gagiel is the throne of the dark god Beelzebub, who is referred to as the prince of the demons. He rules Gagiel. His name is generally interpreted as the Lord of the Flies, but archaeological findings tell us that Beelzebub was originally a Phoenician god called Beelzebel, which means Lord of Lords. When reaching Gagiel, one becomes a magician in a deepest sense. Magic is the art of will, and it's the center of will. It is an active level that is represented by the wand of the magician. The wand is a copy of the world's axis around which the universe rotates. The male sky god, which can be found in most religions, corresponds to this axis, and he is one who creates and upholds the world and its order. The world axis of the phallus of the god Gagiel, ruled by Beelzebub, represents the forces of the apocalypse that cause the wand to break and fall apart. The Lord of Flies feasts on the old world that, like flies, consuming a corpse. From the ashes of the old world, the magician recreates the universe by raising his wand and lets it become the world axis around the new which a new universe rotates. Alright, fellas. We're at the deepest part of hell now. Are you fucking ready for this shit?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay. This is what everything's been leading up to, fellas and fellettes. Alright. Thalmiel. The goal of the left-hand path, according to the Qlippothic alchemical path, which is my path, by the way, is to reach the outermost dark sphere, Thalmiel. The Thalmiel clipper signifies the twin, or the twin god, and is represented by the two devil princes Satan and Moloch. They correspond to the utmost plurality and duality inherent in one principle. Like a Janus face, the two devil princes gaze in opposite directions. One gazes outwards, on that which has been, the creation that the magician has revolted against and is now emancipating himself from. The other gazes inwards towards the future and the worlds that the magician, now as a god, is able to create. Satan is the opposite, or the rebel, against creation, and those structures that bind together existence and limit the magician. Moloch means king or lord, and is the one who creates and rules new worlds. These principles of Lord and Rebel are united at Thalmiel, and they are at each end of the black hole that opens when the magician reaches Thalmiel. Satan destroys Universe A, in which the magician is a creation, and Moloch opens Universe B, in which the magician is a creator. These mysteries are considered so revolutionary and difficult to understand that one deals with them exclusively during higher degrees of initiation. Thalmiel's division is the reason why the number on the Qlippoth is 11, and its formula is AA equals Amadeus Eta, the black diamond. Numerologically, the numbers 1 to 10, or 10 to 1, represent the unity between man and God, the end and the beginning. The serpent biting its own tail symbolizes this. When the magician progresses according to the Kabbalistic levels, Kether, the highest principle, is reached at the final stage. At Kether, the 10 and 1 have been united and the circle has been closed. The adept of the light has reached his goals and becomes one with God. The dark adept also reaches this level but has the choice at this stage to make one crucial step. Through Thalmiel, another 11th level is opened, a black hole that becomes a gate to another universe. The dark adept frees himself completely from God and all creation and becomes a creator. Instead of becoming one with God, the magician becomes a god himself through the 11th level. This is the final goal and the essence of the left-hand path. The Western left-hand path and the Indian left-hand path, the Vamachara, strive towards the same goal. The common yoga of the right-hand path strives, just like the light Western mysticism, to reach unity and melt together with God or the divine. The right-hand path in Tantra also has this goal. Julius Evola, in the Yoga of Power, explains the difference between the left-hand path and the right-hand path, and we quote, "There is a significant difference between the two transitic paths, that of the right hand and that of the left hand, which both are under Shiva's aegis. In the former, the adept always experiences someone above him, even at the highest level of realization. In the latter, he becomes the ultimate sovereign, Chakravatran equals world ruler." End quote. The left-hand path takes a further decisive step than the right-hand path and represents the mysticism around the number 11 in the AA formula. The right-hand path leads to unity with God, while the left-hand path takes one step beyond God. The right-hand path leads to the conclusive and final eternal goal, while the goal of the left-hand path is to arrive at a new beginning. The two roads that have been compared to the two ways that one can follow like a river. The right-hand path follows the river into the sea, while the left-hand path goes against the flow back to the spring. The left-hand path goes backwards and against the stream. When the magician reaches the spring, he has the possibility to alter the direction of the river and create a new river if he wishes to. Another important aspect of the left-hand path in both the west and the east is the importance of the dark goddess. Lilith and Kali are the black mothers, and their womb is the actual source towards which the dark magician strives in order to be reborn as his own child and his own creator. The difference between the goals on the right-hand path and the left-hand path are the same in both the east and the west. In the west, the highest sphere of light is Kether, the crown, and here one reaches unity with God in the east. The highest level of light is called the crown chakra, Shashara. At this stage, the adept reaches Shahandi, which means unity with the God, and is unity with the divine. This state numerologically corresponds to 10. This stage is symbolized by the diamond, the purest and hardest form of carbon, the foundation of all life. In his book 777, Aleister Crowley writes regarding Kether in the number 1. The diamond is white brilliance, it is pure carbon, and the foundation of all living structure. The adept of the left-hand path also experiences this level, but has through his magical work the possibility to take another step, 1 beyond 10, i.e. 11, which corresponds to a conscious step in through the gate 0 that is beyond 1 beyond 1. This step is the secret behind the division of Thalmiel and the two twin devils, Satan and Moloch. The state beyond Kether and Shashara is symbolized by the black diamond. Crowley describes the black diamond in 777 reflecting on the number 0. It is invisible, yet contains light and structure itself. The black diamond represents the ultimate freedom of the left-hand path by offering one step further than the right-hand path. Julius Evola describes how this thought exists in the tantric left-hand path, and we quote again. The creative and productive aspects of the cosmos process is signified by the right hand, by the colour white, by the two goddesses Yuma and Gauri, to whom Shakti appears, and Farashamaka, in whom she is light and manifestation. The second aspect, that of conversion and return, exodus, reditus, is signified by the left hand, by the colour black, and by dark destructive goddess Durga and Kali. Thus, according to the Mahakala Tantra, when the left and right hand paths are in equilibrium, we experience samsara, but when the left hand prevails, we find liberation. End quote. When the adept of the left-hand path takes a step beyond Shishara, he reaches the gate beyond Samadhi, which he is called Kavala. The Indian adepts of the light strive towards Samdhi, but the dark adepts seek Kavala. Kavala is the state corresponding to the black diamond that the magician reaches at Thalmiel. Here the adept reaches a state of absolute individuality and divinity. Instead of becoming one with God, here the adept becomes God. This is a state of total trance and absolute presence within oneself. The adept has the universe and all potential within, and from this can create a new universe. To reach this stage, the dark adept needs to open a form of black chakra beyond the Shara. It is called Sunya, or Shunya, and corresponds to Thalmiel and a black hole. The level described in Agora 11, Kundalini by Robert Svoboda, we quote, in the Shunya state, all names and forms become extinct, and you are aware of your own individuality, otherwise only the void remains. Everything in the universe is contained in the Shunya state in unmanifested form. You can no longer perceive it. Although people call the Shunya state of the void, it is not empty, it is full. End quote. The possibility of opening the black chakra arises after the magician has accomplished a complete awakening of the Ajna chakra in the third eye. The Ajna chakra is a lower form of Sunya within the body. Sunya is the third eye, the eye of Lucifer or Shiva in a higher form, reserved for the most advanced adepts of the left-hand path. With the activation of the Ajna chakra, the adept faces a final decision: to become one with God in the Shara and thus be disintegrated, or to attempt to become the great and very difficult through Shunya to become a god. Neither Shishara nor Sunya are actually chakras in the general meaning of the word. Man has 6 main chakras, from the base chakra to the Ajna chakra in the head. The 3 lower chakras are dominant in persons who are focused on earthly matters and their base instincts. In spiritual persons, the 3 higher chakras are the dominant ones. Adepts of the right-hand path are predominantly trying to raise their energies from the higher levels to the higher, from the lower levels to the higher, in a process that leads to enlightenment of the Ajna chakra, while the adept realizes the illusionary nature of the self in the universe. The final goal of the right-hand path is to take a great step out of Shishara, to reach Samadhi and the extinction of the self. The adept of the left-hand path can take a step back into himself at the Ajna chakra and find 3 hidden chakras that are concealed inside the head. The 3 secret chakras are Galata, and Galana. They can only be experienced when the Kundalini is completely awakened and has made the Ajna chakra aflame with force. Only when the Ajna chakra burns with the Kundalini force can the adept find the 3 secret and hidden chakras in the back of his head. According to the Vamachara, these 3 chakras can only be opened through the blessing of Kali. The secret chakras can make the adept a god while he is in his own body. There are 3 times 3 chakras, 3 of which are secret and only opened by advanced steps of the left-hand path. The next step is to reach the Shahara chakra, but through the awakening of the Ajna chakra and the secret chakras, the adept can take a step beyond the Shashara in the 10th level and through Sunya to the 11th level to create new worlds beyond Sunya. On the other side of the black hole, the adept will also find the infinite light that has previously been experienced as darkness. Instead of God's unity, the dark path offers the dynamic duality at the highest principle. Unity is equivalent with distinction, while the outermost duality gives energy. When the magician reaches Thalmiel, he finds himself at the absolute core. Thalmiel is the eye of the dragon and the throne of Lucifer. The magician can stay here forever, but can also make the ultimate choice. All religious, philosophical, and metaphysical goals can be reached from this level. The magician can enter nirvana, become one with the darkness or the womb of Kali, but it is also possible for the magician to invert Thalmiel and become one with God and the bright side. The magician can enter the lower levels or take the final step out of this universe. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to take a little 5-minute break. Okay? Because that was a lot of talking. Ave Domina Lilith, Maragama Lilith Roxama Lulama, 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 Maragama Lilith Roxama Lulama. Okay, guys, you ready to go? Okay. Next chapter, Qlippothic Invocations. The first 4 Qlippothic invocations that will be present here are directed to the 4 Qlippoth that are below Thagrian. Lilith, Gamaliel, Lilith, Gamil. Fuck, one more time. The 4 Qlippoth that are below Thagrian: Lilith, Gamaliel, Samiel, and Arab Zarak. The Qlippoth above Thagrian are too abstract for the magician to be able to work with without experienced guidance. The invocations are directed to the demon rulers of the different Qlippoth. The Namar invocations opens up a crack in the material plane and enables communication and contact to the other side. The work with this Clipper also can generate success in material manners. The Lilith invocation gives rise to dreams, visions, and astral journeys. Lilith rules Gamaliel, which is the abode of the succubus, the incubus, and other sexual astral entities. The Adramelech invocation takes the magician into areas of his intellectual genius and the outer limits of reason. The Baal invocation can awaken erotic passions and the forces of a warrior. Qlippothic ceremonies should be conducted in desolate places that awaken the sublime feelings that arise when the beautiful and terrifying are combined. Deserts, moors, mountains, deserted beaches and forests are suitable areas. The magician could also conduct ceremonies on burial grounds, in old abandoned houses or in ruins. Of course, a dark magical temple is a superb location for Qlippothic ceremonies. An 11-pointed star is drawn on the floor and placed on the altar. The magician lights 11 black candles in the Qlippothic incense, first directing the magical dagger toward the 4 cardinal directions purifies the sight. Then follows an introductory meditation. The thought should be concentrated in a lower and black part of the brain, the reptile brain. After the meditation follows the reading of the invocation. The ritual can be further enhanced when combined with the opening of the 7 gates. After the toast of the demon rulers of the cardinal directions in the middle of the ceremony, the chosen invocation is read. The Qlippothic incense: thorn apple, henbane, thistle oil, wormwood, mug rot, monk shod. The parts of the incense are mixed equally. If not all ingredients can be found, one or few can be used instead. A warning is required at this stage. Qlippothic operations often generate very strong and uncontrollable effects. The Qlippoth has been called the excrements of the universe or the fruits of the tree of death. It is associated with abnormality in the forces of chaos. Strong experiences of sex, death and lust and suffering are common, and are paradoxical extremes. Never work with the Qlippoth if you are mentally or physically unbalanced. The opening of the 7 gates. The magician draws a circle around himself on the ground and stands in its centre. On the ground or the altar is a wand, a knife and a chalice. Details regarding these tools can be studied in the chapter about demon conjurations according to the Grammarium Vernum. And the magician begins by turning to the east and points his wand in this direction. The ritual will proceed clockwise to symbolically follow the journey of the sun towards the night to the north. The magician declares, I open the gate of dawn in the east, and I conjure the element of air in the name of Amamyan. The magician turns to the south and declares, I open the gate of the noon in the south and conjure the element of the fire in the name of Goetic. The magician turns to the west and declares, I open the gate unto the evening, and I conjure the element of water in the name of Karlsson. The magician turns to the north and declares, I open the gate of night and I conjure the element of the earth in the name of Zememe. The magician turns his gate towards the point downwards and points his wand to the ground and declares, I open the gate of the underworld in the name of the letter Mem, and I conjure the element of the primeval water, its salt and its black colour in the name of Lilith. The magician turns his gaze upwards and points his wand towards the sky and declares, I open the gate of heaven in the name of the letter Shin, I conjure the element of its primeval fire, its sulphur and its real red colour, in the name of Lucifer and Samael. The magician holds the wand at the solar plexus and focuses on a central point in which the above and below meet, and from which the cardinal directions are based, and declares, I open the gate to the astral world in the name of the letter Alph, and I conjure the element of the primeval air in Mercury and its white colour in the name of Shiva and Surreal. The magician closes his eyes and awaits the arrival of the forces. Thereafter, the chalice is lifted, filled with wine or a magical brew, and the forces are greeted in the order when they are called. The magician holds the chalice in each direction and declares, I greet you, demon's name, and offers you a toast. If the magician is doing a Qlippothic invocation, now is the time to read it. The ceremony is ended with a farewell to the forces and the closing of the gates by pointing a dagger to the 7 directions but in opposite order, staring upwards and ending with east. Before each direction, a magician declares, Go in peace, demon's name, and return to the place from which you came, and appear again whenever I call upon you. Okay. Give me a second. Is everyone good? Is everyone understanding? I'm just having a bit of a vague, this is pretty intense shit that I'm going through. I've not read this part of the book for a long time, so I'm feeling it. The Namar invocation. Lepaka, Namar, Amar, Riek, Maskim, Rashan. Namar, daughter of the heart of darkness, come forth from the womb of the night. Come in your flaming robes and open your eyes to what is hidden. Open your night and bring forth the shadows that lurk in the unknown. May your black fires flow over the border, and may we taste your power and beauty. O Namah, Agab, Harombrub, Ana, Nama, Bakron, Lilith, Marag Nama, Arith Dabam, Ona Pashid Labisi. In the splendor of your shimmering power, the spirit of this world is reflected. There has passed through the mirror and become united with your abundance. O Nama, that the pillars of existence fall apart and give room for the darkness that you breed. Nama, Turiel, Malkuth, Orkosal, Kiposis, Ruach, Mehek Helbek. Nama, bring again the primordial and let the wilderness come alive. You are the clear wind that cleanse our soul from lies. Though the true power can flow freely, O Nama, awaken the dragon that rests in your womb so that the world may be reborn in its power. Lepaka, Nama, Ama, Rook, Thelil, Ho, Drakon, Ho, Megas. The Lilith invocation. Lepaka, Lilith, Reg, Badad, Arioth, Samalo, Shared. Lilith, open your womb, open the shell of darkness to come forth from the cave of dark dreams. Lilith, let your blood flow like volcanic lava and be the force through which the dragon arises. Open, Lilith, Ama, Leil, Nama, Rimog, Arioth, Lidirochi, Nam Lilith. O Lilith, the world is seduced in your embrace, and that the remains of all ages can meet beneath the shadow of your cruelty. Nama, Rimog, Arioth, Liriochi, Lilith. Lilith, you are holding the scepter and dominion. Give us the dominion and the fulfillment of our dreams. Lepaka, Lilith, Reok, Ereoth, Nama, Samalo, Shared, Ho, Draken, Ho, Magus. Alright. What's wrong?
Am I interrupting anything? I'm sorry.
Sit down if you want.
I just want to. Sorry.
That's hilarious.
You good?
Yeah.
To give you some context, we're reading QabbalahQlippoth and Goetic Magic by Thomas Karlsson, 3rd edition, 1964.
I need to turn on my lights
Very
real
fun.
quick. It's starting to get dark out.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, I don't have those tracking.
Exactly. Sweet.
We're at the hardcore stuff that's deep in the book now, so sorry if it's a bit confusing.
Pleasure for me. I just got here and I don't know.
Okay, well, here we go. The Adremelech invocation. The Paka, Samael, Semelin, Adramech, Rulek, Konojin. May the shadow gate open and release the mighty peacock to spread its rainbow wings in proud hybris in defiance towards the gods of the light. May the shells of Inferno open and release the poison that shall be the last meal of the angels of reason. Samael, Lusafe, Katolin, Manten, Adremelech, Abahin. We invoke Adremelech so that you, in your pride and in your insanity, shall free us from the prison of reason. Open the doors to the gardens of insanity and creativity where we shall rule. There we shall carry the black diamond as our lantern on the paths of darkness and shadows. O Amedrelech, your insanity is your wisdom, and it is our path to the worlds of will and power. It is our path to the dragon. Samael, Sareth, Adoni, Adremelech. Nagid, Dilip. Nagid, Dalep, Samael. O Madrelech, guide us through the glimmering black gates of Samael. Show us the way through the gates of beauty and laughter so that we may defy all those worlds and all those conceptions that we used to know as truths. O Medrelech, show us the truth and show us the lie. Sareth, Adoni, Samael, Chodraka, and Chomegas. The Baal invocation. Lapeka, Arab, Zarak, Dorak, sorry. Well, a second, I'll do this again. Lepaka, Arab, Zarak, Dorak, Samelo, Zarak. May the shell of darkness open to release the raven of disintegration so that we'll fly over the desolate lands. May the shadow rule and the night open its jaws to release the annihilator of all armies. Baal, Romarek, Arab, Zarak, Milium, Baal, Raginon. May the lightning crack the sky and state the arrival of power. May the lightning destroy the bridges behind us. May the thunder burn in the heads of our enemies as a signal of victory, the triumph of the lightning and the raven. Baal, Romarak. Screaming in the ecstasy of victory, the raven flies in the sign of the dragon. The heavens are torn in pieces like graves, are the shells of darkness now opening. Arab, Zarak, Milium. The eye of the typhoon is stating over the death of the present. Annihilation arrives as an omen of total freedom. The dagger of evil cuts through the night. Baal, Raginon. Riding on the back of the dragon, we are following the flight of the raven through the skies. Lapaka, Arab, Zarak, Dorag, Baal, Samalo, Zarak. Ho, Drakon, Ho, Magus. Alright, that's the end of that chapter if everyone wants to take a breather for 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. I guess I'll do one more chapter and then we'll wrap it up for the evening. Alright, 1 second, let me find where I was. Alright, I'm almost. I was taking a bit of a break anyway, aren't we? So. That was like the chants you have to do to summon certain demons. So those 4 are running around right now. If you're happy.
I know I had to leave for a couple of seconds, but what was the chant?
They were long. Okay, I'll do one of them again. Do you want to hear the Lamar chant, which is the first daughter of Lilith? Do you want to hear the Lilith chant, which is Lilith herself? Do you want to hear the Madrelech chant, or the Baal chant? Okay, let's go then. Ave Domina Lilith, let's go, okay. The Lilith invocation. Lepaka, Lilith, Rueg, Badad, Arioth, Samelo, Shade. Lilith, open your womb. Open the shell of darkness, come forth from the cave of dark dreams. Lilith, let your blood flow like volcanic lava and be the force through which the dragon arises. Open Lilith, Amar Lael, Snamar. Rimog, Arioth, Liriochi, Lilith. O Lilith, the world is seduced in your embrace, and there remains of all ages can meet beneath the shadow of your cruelty. Namar, Rimog, Arioth, Liriochi, Lilith, you are holding the scepter and the dominion. Give us the dominion in the fulfillment of our dreams. Lepaka, Lilith, Ruriath, Arioth, Namar, Samalo, Shade, Ho, Dracon, Ho, Magus. There we go, Lilith. So Lilith twice, let's go boys and girls.
Hell yeah.
Anyone got any questions or comments?
Yeah, I do.
What's good?
How do I summon up my Buddha? Can I ask Buddha for that?
That's explained earlier in the book. You gotta go to Gamaliel for that. Okay, go on.
How serious is your religion?
I am completely dead fucking serious about everything I talk about. I live by the sword, die by the sword type shit.
All of you are saying that
I am a Satanist, so you know I worship Satan.
I would like to learn about this.
We're learning about Lilith at the moment, but Satan's to do with Lilith, so. Who? Me is Candle or Kass?
Do you mind if I step on the cricket room?
I don't care, do what you want. Oh, it's you,
It's a
so.
pleasure to meet you. And,
It's nice to meet you too. Yeah, we're having a break right now, so this is the perfect time for some chit chat if you want.
Okay. Since you're saying all that, are there demons in my room right now?
Maybe if you have an awareness of demons, possibly yes.
I believe in angel and demons, so yeah.
I believe in angels and demons too.
Yes. But are you like strong religion? Like you hate angels like that?
Mostly, there's one angel I'm looking after, but mostly I hate angels, yeah. Archon scum.
May I ask what angel you're afraid of the most?
Gabriel, probably.
Gabriel the angel? I have heard of him.
Crashed. VR fail type shit. Whatever.
You're good. You're good, Harry.
We're taking a break at the moment, bro.
Yeah.
Why am I crashing right up behind me?
Alright.
May I ask who that demon is behind me?
That is Baphomet.
Alright guys, gonna read a book now, okay? This is the last chapter I'm gonna fucking do, so it's night anyway. So we'll go. The Qlippothic Tunnels. 22 tunnels, dark counterparts, are the 22 tunnels on the Sephiroth, pass between the 10 Qlippothic worlds. The tunnels have been known under different names such as Sheshishichiran, which means black, or Nesheshiran, which means snake-like. The names of the tunnels that are used below are those which have been most commonly used by contemporary Western dark magicians and were published in 1977 in Night Side of the Eden. And Kabbalistic classic of Kenneth Grant, the names on these tunnels also denote these entities as rule of the tunnels. In the same way that Lilith and Samir are both worlds and demons, the past and the tunnels are throughout, or thought, correspond to tarot cards and Hebrew letters in various ways. Kenneth Grant has based his correspondence on the tarot as developed by Aleister Crowley. In this system, the Emperor corresponds to the path that extends between the Jek, or the Clipper Arab Zarak, and Yesod, Gamaliel, while the star extends between Chokmah, Gargalil, and Tipperah, Sagrian. The system that I am presenting below is based on older and more traditional placement in which the two examples above are exchanged. Thus, the cards in the past follow a chronological pattern around the tree, with the first cards at the top and the lower ones further down. Wandering through the Fantifaxath Tunnel, Tunnel 22, between Gamaliel and Lilith. Between Lilith and Gamaliel. This tunnel, and its Sephirothic equivalent, does not exist in the original perfect tree of life before the fall. This is the path down to the material level from the astral plane. On the original perfect tree of life before the fall, neither Malkuth Lilith nor the material plane existed. Instead, man lived in the astral garden of Eden, which represented Yesod. Only when Dath fell from its original location was the material plane born. On the perfect tree, this powerful tunnel, like Dath and Tippereth, after man had eaten from the fruits of knowledge, Dath fell into the abyss and Malkuth Lilith came into existence. The tarot key that corresponds to this path is the world, the universe. This card illustrates the birth of the material plane. The woman in the card is the fallen Sophia, or Shekinah. This is the cosmic force, Shakti, that is manifest as Maya, the mother of illusions and dualities. Sophia, Shekinah, and Shakti represent the knowledge that is Dath, which is manifest from vision, Kether, Chokmah, Bina. In reality, though, force and action. This powerful tunnel represents the stage when an idea is finally manifested on the material plane. This powerful tunnel also represents birth, such as when the child is separated from the body or the mother. The planet Saturn, which corresponds to this level, represents the principle that cuts the navel string. In myths, this is the final step in the separation of man from God after the fall. The descent from the Garden of Eden. It is on this level that Eve becomes fertile and gives birth to her child. Eve loses all her astral virginity on Yesod and becomes the fertile mother. Eve, on the material level, the banished Eve, who has to become a mother, belongs to Malkuth. She is the woman who, through her pregnancy, gives birth to a body from her body, and thus the principle of duality in matter. The opposite of Malkuth is Lilith, the dark shadow of Eve. She is not the mother, but the slayer of children and a representative of the phase of menstruation. Lilith does not give birth to physical children, but uses the fertile force for magical ends. She absorbs the force from menstruation and the semen of men to direct it towards the dark abyss. In the middle of this abyss is Lucifer. To ordinary people, Lilith is a vampire, but to the darker depths she is an initiator who leads the adepts towards the dark illumination. Lucifer is an embodiment of the Dracon principle, the divine all-seeing in which will and reality have become one. Fantifaxath is the tunnel which leads the force from the material plane to the dark astral worlds beyond the normal levels of creation. Fantifaxath does not run through the levels which are part of normal creation. This is beyond the will of God and a step further from God than the material plane. Through entering the qlippoth tunnels, the magician is deepening the fall, while the paths of the light are trying to bring man back to childlike states in unity with God. The qlippothic paths lead away from God. This is the process of liberation where man experiences a magical birth and passes the state of man to the state of God. VRChat represents the first steps in the dark alchemical process of giving birth to oneself. Saturn and the Hebrew letter Tau, which corresponds to VRChat, represents death and the end, but are also the gates to the second birth. The adept enters the matrix of Lilith and prepares to be born into the dark worlds beyond creation. The matrix of Lilith is the kingdom of death, and to the common man this is the end. But to the dark adept, the kingdom of death is the gate to rebirth and one's own creation. VRChat corresponds to the letter T. It symbolizes the darkness, Saturn and Tau. The T sign is connected to the Greek Omega, and both letters denote the turning point where death and life converge at a crossroad. They represent the womb, the matrix, and the fallopian tubes. On VRChat and the magician might encounter vampires and other entities which exist in the in-between zone between the dead and the living. Vampires have their soul in the dark astral kingdom of death on the QabbalahQlippoth, and they are active on the material plane through VRChat. They are living through the illusion, creating moonbeams of Gamaliel and creating the illusion of being alive, though they belong to the dead. The legend that vampires cannot survive in the sun or that they are not visible in mirrors comes from the fact that they are illusions. By their blood drinking and by sucking other people's energies, they can uphold this illusory existence. Their essence has been lost deeper in the tunnels, but they have stayed on the material level by gaining energy in the essence of their victims. The vampire sucks out this essence on the erotic level. The vampire tries to suck in the energy that is released during orgasms, and the vampire often appears sexually attractive. The vampire is only a persona, only the outer shape or mask of man. The vampire holds the persona or mask alive by sucking life force from others. Public persons and artists might become unconscious vampires who give up their own existence and personal call to use it to feed the outer picture of themselves. They are feeding an outer confirmation, the energy that they receive from their surroundings. They must constantly suck in more energy to satisfy their increasing inner emptiness. Dark adepts can, on the other hand, use vampirism as a form of dark alchemy. The vampire, just like the alchemist, is someone who has reached immortality. The adept uses the erotic visions of VRChat and other qlippothic tunnels to direct his energy to the dark spheres. The sexual energy is refocused from the reproductive instinct to the process of self-deification. The vampirism of Lilith is for the dark adept an initiation of the sexual energy, where the energy is directed from poor reproductive instinct to the draconian clear seeing. Eve represents biological maternity and sexuality as reproduction. Lilith represents a form of sterile sexuality directed towards self-deification and pleasure. She is the mother of demons rather than physical children and uses her erotic power for magical ends. Alright. Thanks for the follow, Darkness. That's nice of you. That's brilliant of you. Thank you, thank you. I think we're at like 15 followers now. Fuck yeah.
That's good. Satan.
Hail Lilith.
Sorry, I mean Lilith.
Or both.
Or both, yeah?
Yeah, both.
We are here for all the demons of men.
But right now,
Yeah.
Hail Satan and hail Lilith. And hail stole this. Hail Beelzebub and hail Asmodeus.
Okay, one second, I was having a bit of a vague. That was a lot of stuff to condense and really hard words to say. almost ready. I think I'm going to read this and finish as well. Fancy Faxnath visualization. This visualization can be practiced alone through memorization or together with another magician who can guide you through it. Here is the incantation. You are at the foot of a verdant mountain which is lit by a hot afternoon sun. On the mountain there are farms and you can see animals and people further away. The upper part of the mountain is covered with snow, and you cannot see its top, which is above the clouds. You are walking on a path, which is winding up to the north side of the mountain, which is not lit by the sun, and you can find that you cannot yet see its landscape. After having walked for a while along the path, you begin to see the north side of the mountain, covered in shadows in front of you. The terrain is steeper and more demanding, with cracks, ravines and pointed rocks. You cannot see any people here, and the landscape is barren with overgrown bushes with sharp thorns. The path turns and you enter the shadow of the north side of the mountain. You see the sun disappear beyond the mountain and the path becomes cooler. A small snake crawls fast over the path and disappears into a hole in a mountain. You are curious and look into the hole. The snake has disappeared and the hole seems to go far into the mountain. You can see a vague red light from the mountain and an aromatic scent, reminiscent of oriental incense and blood, can be smelled. Suddenly the snake comes out the hole and bites you before disappearing into the hole as fast as it came out. You can see the mark on its teeth on your hand and you can feel an intense pain and dizziness spreading through your body. The pain feels like cold steel, but soon becomes a euphoric feeling of excitement. You fall down into in front of the hole and stare into it, numbing your body. The hole in the mountain seems to pulsate with a red light that glows with intensity. The red light pulsates out towards you in concentric circles, and you realize that you are being sucked into the hole, which seems to be growing in size. The hole has become a tunnel whose end you cannot see. You are floating in through the tunnel. The tunnel has black walls pulsating with an intense red light. The tunnel is almost round, but from its roof and floor grow stalagmites and stalactites which resemble jaws dripping with saliva. The walls glitter as if containing metals or crystals, and the walls smoulder with thick aromatic scent. You can no longer decide what is up or down in the cave, and you experience yourself falling down a bottomless hole. In front of you, in the tunnel, you can soon make out the contours of a female body. A naked woman with long black hair can be seen further ahead in the cave. She is coming closer as the walls pulsate red. She is dancing ecstatically an erotic dance. You can now see her clearly. She is moving in lips and what would either be laughter or a scream. She is holding two bloody crescents and her body is covered in blood. Her eyes stare, but since they are totally black, you cannot see what she is looking at. Beyond her, you can see the end of the tunnel. First, that's a small point of light far away, but you can see a flame-coloured circle that is slowly getting closer. After a while, you realize that it's the full moon that is rising behind the woman. You are falling through empty black space towards the moon. The moon appears to be connected to the woman and is covered and dripping with the same blood that covers her. The blood appears to be the same pulsating red light that you saw in the tunnel. You fall towards the moon until you are swallowed up by its landscapes. At this stage, you may have fallen asleep. Otherwise, you conclude this visualization by refocusing on your physical body and proceed with an auric meditation in which you strengthen your astral body and aura. It is very important to clearly mark the end of the qlippoth working with an auric meditation or a banishing ceremony in which you point your magical dagger towards the 6 directions. Dragon Rouge has descriptions of workings for the remaining 21 tunnels as well as 2 hidden tunnels that pass under the abyss, provided for initiates. Alright guys, class concluded. Any questions?